Hello, thank you for joining. My name is Shauna. Welcome to Live the Season Life, and I'm happy to see you here. Anytime you see me in a top knot and a t-shirt and a messy kitchen, you know I'm up to things. So what's happening for me this week is I have a bunch of family coming to town for Tasty Black Charleston. I mean, really, they're just coming to kind of hang out with us. Microwave, sorry. They're really just coming to hang out with us, but also to be there as part of Taste of Black Charleston. And because they're coming, I'm coming back over there in just a second. Because they're coming, I want to make sure that we have our guest spaces, together, all nice and together for them when they come, so that it's a lovely experience. Which means that I have some work to do because we have two guest spaces in our home. We have upstairs on the third floor, pardon the rattling. We have upstairs on the third floor, and then we also have the Frog. So we have my uncle's gonna be staying in the Frog, and my cousin and her husband and their kid, because there are two beds up there, up on the third floor. So what I like to do is make sure that my guests have, and even though they're family, I still want to treat them well. Make sure that they have kind of what I call like a hospitality basket. So that's what we're working on today. I went to, as you can see, TJ Maxx to grab some things, and I just wanted to share with you real quick the kind of stuff that I include in these hospitality baskets. So this basket I picked up at Ross for like $5 over a year ago, and I actually bought it for this purpose, just something nice and decorative, more or less decorative. And this one, I don't know where I got this from. This actually may have come from the Dollar Tree, this one. And they're not big baskets. I'm gonna use this one for my uncle because it's just him. And then for my cousin and her husband and her kids, this one's a little bit larger. So the thing of it is, I don't want them to have to feel like if they're thirsty in the middle of the night, they have to come all the way downstairs and all the way around the kitchen and everything to fumble through it and find something to drink or find something to eat. I want them to have kind of snacks and things at the ready so that they can, have a much more comfortable experience. And that is the entire reasoning and rationale behind these hospitality baskets. So this one's already partially filled, but all I do basically is I just take some tissue and pop it in the bottom here, just a little soft cushioning. Water is really important. Yes, it means they end up with room temperature water, but room temp water is way better than no water. So I've been thinking about if I want to put like a cooler up there or something. I think it might be a little overkill, but whatever. So we'll put water in this one. I have waters to put in this one, but they are in the garage. So I'll have to come back and put the waters in that one. But what I like to do is kind of have a mix and balance of the kinds of things that I put in these baskets. So a little salty, a little sweet, a little chocolatey, a little fruity, and definitely something healthy for sure. Because, people have goals and you don't want to have someone feeling like, they have to basically forfeit their diet or forfeit their healthy eating plan because they have nothing else to eat. So that's what I'm working on today. I'm also going to be, as you can see in my kitchen, that needs some attention. It had attention yesterday, but I have since ruined it in terms of making it messy. I will deal with this. Don't say nothing. This is just life. All right, so let me show you what I got from TJ Maxx to add into these hospitality baskets. I'm not editing that out either. His life is life. All right, so bottles of water for sure. This stuff I'm gonna take out. So I picked up a couple things from TJ Maxx that I think are perfect. TJ Maxx did not pay me to do this. I use my own money for this. So here we are. All right, so I have these Tom and Luke snack balls is what they're called. They're dark chocolate. They're plant-based. They're gluten-free. I don't care about that. But the ingredients include dates, cocoa powder, cocoa liqueur, coconut, almonds, sunflower seeds, and sea salt. And that's literally all that's in them. It says 3 balls is in a serving. I would open these up and show them to you, but I don't want to do that because these are for my guests. But you can kind of get a sense of what they look like in here. And, it's cute. So I picked up 2 of these. These were $3.99 a piece at TJ Maxx. So I grabbed 2 of these because I'm going to do 2 baskets. So I'll put one in here. I'll put the other one in here. And yes, it's chocolatey. Is this the healthiest thing in the world? No, but it kind of gets too healthy without adding a bunch of processed sugar. So all the sweetness in this appears to come from the dates, which I appreciate. So there's that. That's the kind of sweet and chocolatey. For salty, you know, I grabbed two things. So I have these avocado oil sweet potato chips. These are single serve, excuse me. So I think I'm gonna add one of these in each one. There's a 6-pack of these in here for, these were $6.29 if you can see. So I'm gonna add in, grab some scissors, make this process a little easier. And you know, I actually haven't, so I've never tasted these before, but they look good. And actually I've made something similar to this. So that's why I have a sense of it's gonna be decent. The sweet potato chips, I've never tasted before. So I will taste them at some point. You know what? Let's just open up the bag right now. And just, see what's going on. So these are avocado oil sweet potato chips with sea salt. And the ingredients include sweet potatoes, avocado oil, and sea salt. That's literally what it says on the bag here. We'll open it up. They smell great. Crunch, let's see. These are actually pretty good. You know, they're not too sweet. They're not too salty. These are perfect. I like these. It gives you the sense of the chip without all the grease and starch of the chip, of a traditional potato chip. So I like these. I'll finish those later. All right, so they both get sweet potato chips. Now, also in the vein of sweet and salty, I have these. This was a little on the pricey side. I normally don't buy these, but I thought that these would be perfect. Honey roasted mixed nuts. And this is a challenge to buy stuff like this because I already know. When I see honey on it and mixed nuts, I already know it's a bunch of sugar, it's a bunch of salt. The only added benefit is that there is a little bit of protein and fat in it because of the nuts to balance it out. So they're gonna get some of this. My uncle's gonna get one. I'm actually gonna put, and in fact, since there are more than one person in the room upstairs, I'm gonna put 2 of the sweet potato chips and 2 of the mixed nuts in here. Maybe 4. I have these Kind Healthy Grains energy bars, dark chocolate chunk. These used to be called the breakfast bars. All they did was change the marketing of it. That's all it is. So there's a pack of, there are 10 bars in this pack, and this was $7, which is actually not cheap at all. I've noticed, you know, comment down below, have you noticed lately that they've been making the size of the package or the quantity or count inside the package greater, possibly in order to increase the price of it? Because this box of 10 was $7.29, which is fine, but I feel like this box would have normally cost like $3.99 for like a box of 5. So I haven't done the math on it, but it just feels, like something's up. Anyway, I'm gonna give my uncle one of these. I'm gonna put 2 or 3 of these for the larger group upstairs. And then last but not least, is this gonna be last? So the bag is empty. This is definitely much more on the healthier side. I've shared these with you before. I love crumpling these up and putting them in my oatmeal. These are just plain apple chips. What I like about these is that it's just apple in this. There's no added sugar, there's no added oils, there's no nothing. It's just straight up just apples. And some of the more well-known brands typically have a bunch of sugar, fat, and things, you know, added in that you don't want. So I'm going to grab a couple of bags of these. And this is gonna add some fiber into the situation as well. My uncle, being a man from the South, may or may not eat any of this stuff. So I'm gonna have to put something in this basket that he will eat and appreciate. My cousin, she will understand and appreciate all these things. And so she will definitely partake in these and be grateful for them as they are, but I'm gonna have to put something, you know, that my uncle can appreciate, because he's an old school guy from the South. He still likes to eat raccoon and all manner of wild game. You know, he's lived in Atlanta for the past, I don't know, 50 years, literally. So, you know, he has some cosmopolitan to him. Sorry. He's not Cosmo. He's not Metro. Not like that. But he has a sense of the city in him. But in his heart and in his core, he is a country boy. So I'm going to have to put something that he will recognize in here. So I'm going to give him these Cheetos, Skinny Pop popcorn, and he's got his water bottle. I may kind of edit this a little bit at some point, but for the most part, this is going to be it. So I have here, this is my uncle's hospitality basket. So again, he's got water in here. He's got the sweet potato chips, the apple chips. He's got this kind of granola bar situation. He's got some popcorn in here, and he's got these, you know, sort of dark chocolate snack balls in here that he can enjoy. So, you know, a nice mix of things that should make his stay pleasant. And I'll just put this on the nightstand upstairs so that he can, in his room rather, so he can enjoy these. For my cousin, similar setup. The only thing that's missing is I'm gonna grab a couple water bottles and sit them right here. So there's gonna be an open space in the side here. But similar setup, I have, because there are more of them staying upstairs in that room, I have multiple of these items. So we'll do the granola bars. Again, I'll do the Snackables, the dark chocolate. I have a couple of these bags of the sweet potato chips, the apple chips, a couple bags of those, and I put in 3 or 4 of the mixed nuts. So that should do it. I may do other things, like, for example, I also grabbed, only because I know that my younger cousins, they're my cousins' kids, basically, so I'm their auntie in Southern Black woman language. I know they like these peach rings, so I grabbed these as well. They're not individually wrapped. So what I may do is grab one of my packages from when I was doing the micro bakery, grab a couple of those kind of packaging bags and put a few of these in them to plop in here as well. So there's something kind of naughty sweet as well. So yeah, that's what this is looking like. And in fact, let me go ahead and grab those right now. I hope I don't make you fall while I do this, but it should be a very, very simple thing to kind of set up, because, see, perfect example. I don't know if these are actually big enough for this, but I have like just these cellophane bags, and they have, did these seal? Are these self-sealing? I think they are. Yes, they are. So all I'll need to do is open this up. Yeah, they're not individually wrapped. And I'm going to pour a few of these in here. You know what, let me just get some gloves real quick to make this a much easier proposition. So all I'm gonna do is grab these gloves so I can be a little bit sanitary. Open this bad boy up. And I got these bags on Amazon. If you're curious about them, comment down below and I'll be happy to share a link with you or two. But this is actually the perfect size just to put some of these peach gummies in. I'm not a fan of gummies personally. It's just not my jam. But you know, I can appreciate it for some people. So I'm gonna throw some gummies in here. I don't know how many that is. Maybe a couple more. Just like that. Peel this off and I can seal it. And so now I have an individual packet of these peach gummies that I can put into their hospitality bag. Just like that. So I'll do one for my cousin and her family, and I'll do a second one for my uncle. And I think that'll do it, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, you know, I don't want them to feel like they have to be inconvenienced to walk all the way downstairs from the 3rd floor to get to the kitchen to get something to eat if they're hungry or want a snack. You know, I'm not a person that eats late at night just because GERD. And I've talked to you guys about this several times. But there are a lot of people that just like to have just a little something to nibble on before they drift off to sleep. And God bless you, because I don't know how you're able to do that, quite personally. Because it would literally tear me up if I did that. So I just want to make sure that everybody has, you know, just a little something if they want to nibble on something. And again, just another individually wrapped pack of these peach gummies to go into the hospitality basket. So I think they'll love these. I've done these before whenever I have guests, and people tend to enjoy them. So, you know, it's something nice and neat and relatively inexpensive. I mean, do you have to go to TJ Maxx and buy up a whole bunch of stuff to do this? No. Go to your local grocery store or grab whatever's already in your kitchen. Use your kids' existing snacks. To that point, I think I'm gonna grab some jerky because I remember that I have some mini turkey jerkies and beef sticks and such. A little on the heavy side, but you know, when you also think about if you're relaxing in the middle of the day and you're just kind of taking a nap and chilling out between lunch and, you know, hanging out for the evening, you just want a little something to nibble on that's a little bit more substantial, this can be the perfect option for you. So I'll put some of these jerky sticks in here as well. So it's a nice kind of, I don't want you to have a meal because you don't need to have a meal, but sometimes you just need a little snack. So that's all I'm gonna do for these. I think the only other thing I might do is grab some napkins if I have any. And I don't either. No, yeah, I do. Look at this. I have all these napkins. I'm going to pop some napkins in here as well. So that way, you know, they have everything that they need. And I feel like, you know, I'm not the queen of hospitality, but I feel like hospitality is always making sure that your guests or whoever it is that you are serving doesn't have a need or want for anything. So that is why you do this kind of thing. So that's it. I am gonna close this out and call this done. Comment down below and let me know, is this the kind of thing that you've done before, or what kind of things would you put in your hospitality basket for your friends and family or your guests who are coming to stay at your house? They're only gonna be here for a couple of days, but still, just something to kind of make their stay a lot more pleasant. All right, thank you so much for watching. I do ask, if you don't mind, please, 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 please like and consider subscribing, because I hope I'm your new food and lifestyle channel favorite, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.